How's it going, everybody? Fine? Well, that's great to hear. For this one, we're taking a look at the second Precon Blitz hero I've ever played. At first glance, Briar seemed like a pretty cool hero to me, so I was excited to try her out. But unfortunately, it felt like her Precon didn't do anything she wants to do. Admittedly, that might have been because I just started playing Fab and didn't know how things work, but it still felt pretty bad. So I set her aside. After some time with the game and some watch tournaments, I saw that she actually is pretty good. So I decided to use my newfound knowledge to create a nice little commoner deck that makes use of both of her abilities. Much like her grown-up self in Classic Constructed, we want to make use of mostly zero-cost attacks that either have or gain Go Again and buffs to make them big. Unfortunately, we don't have access to Channel Mount Heroic, one of the cards that make her so good in other formats, but other heroes have to deal with the same predicament. We'll absolutely manage. Now to the price of this deck. And to be honest, I did not expect this. We have a new cheapest deck on the channel. With an average card price of 6 cents rounded up, this Briar list comes in at €2.75. On to our hero Briar. The future Warden of Thorns is an elemental rune blade that has the essence of Earth and Lightning. This means that we can play Elemental, Earth, Lightning, Rune Blade and of course generic cards. A pretty big card pool to choose from. For this deck we will concentrate on Elemental, Lightning and generic cards though. Each turn, the first time an attack action card we control deals damage to an opponent, we create an Embodiment of Earth token. Embodiment of Earth will give our non-attack action cards +1 defense while defending, but it is destroyed at the beginning of our action phase. Briar's second ability will create an Embodiment of Lightning token the second time we play a non-attack action card each turn. That token is destroyed the next time we play an attack action card and it will give it Go Again. Her weapon is of course Rosetta Thorn. I mean, come on, it's even on her artwork. It deals 2 damage and can attack once per turn for the cost of 1 resource. If we've played an attack action card and a non-attack action card before we attack with it, it deals 2 arcane damage on top to target hero. So, if you wanna shoot yourself in the foot, go for it. Our default equipment is good old Iron Rod Helm in the head slot, which can block for 1. The amazing Ether Iron Weave has 1 armor as well, but Battle Worn, which is just so good in Commoner. We can also destroy it to gain 2 resources, but this ability can only be activated if we've played an attack action card and a non-attack action card before. Go again. This time I wanted some armor that I don't see played too often and went with Bracers of Belief in the arm slot. If we destroy them, we reveal the top card of our deck. Then the next attack action card we play that turn gains +X attack, where X is 3 minus the revealed card's pitch value. Since this deck is predominantly red, we'll most likely buff our next attack by 2. And for legs we play Snapdragon Scalers. You know, what else did you expect? Destroy them as an attack reaction to give any attack in this deck Go Again. Something a little bit different from most of my other decks as well is that we're only going for 2 Arcane Barrier for our swappable equipment. Crown of Dichotomy has Arcane Barrier 1 and an action as well. We can pay 1 resource and destroy it to put a Runeblade attack action card and a Runeblade non-attack action card from our graveyard on top of our deck. Unfortunately, this only applies to Arcanic Shockwave, but still better than a regular Null Rune Hood. Speaking of Null Rune, we still can't go without it, as we still have Null Rune Gloves. I also added Iron Rod Gauntlet as well for good measure. In the deck, I wanted to have quite a few of 0 cost buffs and ended up with a total of 10. I really wanted one of these to be Invigorate to even get +4 damage for 0, but that also meant that we need fusion attacks. I ended up with 8 lightning fusion attacks and 10 lightning cards because of that. It's not a crazy amount of fuse targets, but it should be enough in my experience. This time, let's sort the cards by Lightning Fusion, Lightning, generic attacks, and lastly, buffs and other actions. All our Lightning Fusions cost 0 resources, and we play both the yellow and red versions of them. Arcanic Shockwave and Entwine Lightning both attack for either 4 or 3 damage. The only difference here is that Shockwave has 3 block as opposed to Entwine Lightning's 2. When we attack with Arcanic Shockwave and it was fused, we get to deal 1 arcane damage to our opponent. If Entwine Lightning was fused, it gains Go Again. Now to the lightning cards already. Heaven's Claws and Shock Striker both cost 1 while Lightning Surge costs 0. Heaven's Claws is only in here because it has the lightning keyword and deals 5 damage. If we manage to slap 2 buffs on here, that could mean it attacks for up to 11. Good enough in my book. Shock Striker does the same, but it has a once per turn instant on top of that. We could pay 2 resources to have it deal 1 damage to our opponent if it hits them. And Lightning Surge strikes for 4 and gains Go Again if it is played from Arsenal. Amulet of Lightning and Electrify are the remaining lightning cards and also the only blue cards in our deck. The Amulet is an item that costs 0 and has Go Again. We can destroy it at instant speed to give target action card Go Again, but we can only do so if we've lightning fused that turn. Electrify on the other hand costs 1 and makes the next attack action card that hits that turn deal 1 additional damage to our opponent. If it's played from Arsenal, we draw a card, Go Again. I went with that because the potential extra damage is always nice to have. Drawing the card if we've put it into Arsenal is awesome, and the 3 resources it can generate is amazing. I think it's a good all-rounder for our purposes. Our generic attacks are Flock of the Featherwalkers, which deals 5 damage for 1 resource. As an additional cost to play it, we have to reveal a card with cost 1 or less from our hand. Easy enough. After that we create a Quicken token, which basically gives our next attack Go Again. It stays around until we play our next attack, persisting throughout the turns, then it is destroyed. Ravenous Rebel is the only attack with natural Go Again. It attacks for 5 as well, but when we attack with it we have to reveal the top card of our deck. Then it gains -X attack, where X is the pitch value of the revealed card. Chances are good, it's red and we will still attack for 4. The remaining attacks all cost 0 as well and can gain Go Again one way or another. Overload has Dominate and attacks for 3. It gains Go Again if it hits. Scar for Scar attacks for 4 and gains Go Again if we have less life than our opponent. And Seek Horizon attacks for 4 as well. For it to gain Go Again, we may put a card from our hand on top of our deck as an additional cost to play it. On to the buff segment, and remaining card as well. We play the red and yellow Invigorate. They cost 0 and buff the next attack we fuse that turn by 3 or 4 attack. Go Again. The red and yellow Nimblism will buff the next attack action card with cost 1 or less by 3 or 2 attack. And the red Scout the Periphery will buff the next attack action card we play from Arsenal by 3. We also get to look at the top of target hero's deck. Whether that's ours or our opponent's is up to you. The last card to talk about is Lead the Charge. For 0 resources, it effectively gives the next action we play Go Again, because it generates an action point when that action is played. Do keep in mind that if you actually play a card with Go Again after Lead the Charge, you will then have 2 action points. All in all, it's a great card that helps us trigger Briar's second ability and gives us that embodiment of lightning. And there you have it. Commoner Briar coming in with my cheapest deck yet. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video and the deck as well. If you did, then consider subscribing and liking the video, because there will be a lot more budget deck tech videos for all kinds of formats, and now even gameplay videos, link in the description, coming your way. And until next time, take care.